going to start this off with a little bit of a disclaimer. While I am a certified gamer, I've only really played the first Five Nights at Freddy's, and I think I only played like it once. But I don't know the extensive lore. The only thing I know is that people want to put their penis in that thing, and also that thing. That's about my knowledge of as Five Nights at Freddy's go. The games are fairly straightforward. You're just a security guard, and you got to watch the cameras so the Freddy doesn't kill you, which seems like a very easy movie to make. Somehow they fucked it up. But before I get into the negative, I guess I will talk about the positives. And it's really, for me, only one. And that is that the animatronics are all practical, which I thought is very cool. They're people in suits and actual animatronics. Unfortunately, that gets overshadowed by a lot of negatives for me.
Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy.
To clarify, this movie was made for children. So I understand that there's going to be no gore and no blood. But I expect it to at least be somewhat scary. For a game series that's all based on jump scares, there awfully wasn't a lot of it. And I think that comes down to one of my major gripes with the film is that you can't see anything. Recently, that's been sort of a trend to get away with like sort of lazy filmmaking is just make it really dark so you can't see all the imperfections. And that's the entirety of this movie. I felt like the whole time I was like an old man. I was like hunched over, trying to figure out what's going on the screen. And I think that's a shame because they had the animatronics. Why would you not put them on full display? And it blows my mind. There's even a part where they turn on, the light show, and it's still dark. I still can't see anything. Let me give you a preview of what it's like to watch Five Nights at Freddy's, because this is pretty much it. You can't see anything. So the jump scares, you can't even see what's going on. The initial kill is just darkness. All you really see is like the little red eyes pop up and some gear noises and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it really wasn't scary at all. And it also really didn't make much sense, which is my next gripe with the film.
Hello?
While the game is pretty simple and straightforward, for me, logically, I don't think it's that hard to make a movie based off of it. Just have like a single set location and just an hour and a half of suspense, They didn't even really use the security cameras that much. There's like one part, which is the whole sort of point of the game, and what makes it so scary is having to manage all the cameras while the little animatronics move around. And somehow they don't even do that. Instead, what they do, it's a story, once again, about trauma. But there's dreams that our main character goes into to try to recollect the past, and he talks to these children who try to solve their murder, and somehow that's linked to Five Nights at Freddy's, and I mean, this could be the video game lore, I don't know, but from a viewer standpoint, I was very confused because this movie felt like it was trying to be 10 other movies. There was like a whole part I felt like Black Phone. And we see the same dream sequence over and over again, and then we get even an expository scene to explain the dream sequence that we just saw 4-5 times. It's just really bizarre. None of the character motives really make sense. There's a cop character who I still don't understand, even after the twist, the point. And also the twist, we called like first scene the character was in. We're like, yep. They're behind that. And I get, this is a movie technically made for kids, but for a movie made for kids, you think it would just be very straightforward, but for some reason it's like unnecessarily convoluted. It's like this explaining the Saw franchise is easier to explain than Five Nights at Freddy's, which is very bizarre to me to say. I'm always more harsh on movies that I think have potential, because I think it's a very simple concept and it's very easy to get down, and somehow they don't. There's actually another movie that's very similar to this called Night Shift that I was just thinking of the entire time, about a police officer just basically working a security job at the police office. But the difference is that movie's scary, and mostly because you can actually see. It's actually like the exact opposite of this movie, because the lights are very like bright and like the walls are white and it's very like sterile and clean looking. And that actually, because you can see stuff, it actually is scary. And that's really my main gripe with this movie is I can't see shit. It was like the end, like the last 10 minutes of Cocaine Bear, where it's just, you're just watching a black screen. So in conclusion, Five Nights at Freddy's has all the pieces for a decent, PG-13 horror movie. It just somehow doesn't put them together right. The characters none of their motives make sense. The plot is unnecessarily complex. You can't see anything. The editing isn't very good. While they had the animatronics, that's not enough to save it, and it's just really boring. It's not scary. I know it's made for kids. Kids are loving it. Great. It's probably going to make a ton of money. It's just really not for me, and I don't know if that's because maybe I haven't played the games, but it just really didn't click for me. So I'm going to give Five Nights at Fred Pizzeria, let's give him 1 out of 5 pizza slices, because I didn't think it was very good. So yeah, thanks for listening to me rant about how I can't see shit in movies anymore. Bye-bye.
He's coming.